In the bustling city of Sydney, Australia, where skyscrapers glistened under the sun and life moved at a rapid pace, Jasmine's days seemed to drift slowly by. At 25, Jasmine was a hard-working cleaner who struggled to make ends meet. Her days were filled with the noise of cleaning equipment and the hum of city traffic, but her heart remained hopeful despite the hardships she faced. Every day, she cleaned offices and hotels with meticulous care, dreaming of a better life for herself and her family. One particular afternoon, as Jasmine scrubbed the floors of a high-end office building in the heart of Sydney's financial district, her thoughts were interrupted by a tall, well-dressed man. Liam, a 28-year-old wealthy young man with an air of privilege, had been wandering through the building's lobby when he noticed Jasmine. His curiosity was piqued not by her appearance but by her dedication to her work. He watched her for a moment, captivated by her unwavering focus and the warmth that radiated from her despite her situation. Feeling a pang of empathy, Liam approached Jasmine. "Excuse me," he said, his voice carrying a note of genuine concern. "I've been watching you work. You do an amazing job. Here, take this." He handed her a crisp banknote, more than enough to cover a day's worth of her labor. Jasmine looked up, her face momentarily blank as she took in the unexpected gesture. "Thank you, but you really don't have to," she said, her voice filled with surprise. Liam smiled, shaking his head. "No, it's the least I can do. It's a tough world out there, and I think people should help each other out when they can." As he walked away, Jasmine clutched the money, feeling a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. It wasn't just the financial help that touched her, but the simple act of kindness from someone who clearly lived a life of luxury. It was a reminder that compassion still existed, even in the world's wealthiest corners. Meanwhile, back at the luxurious mansion where Liam lived with his stepfather, Marcus, a manipulative and wealthy man in his late 50s, a different kind of tension was brewing. Marcus, with his cold demeanor and a mind constantly calculating the next move, had noticed Liam's recent charitable behavior. To Marcus, any act that threatened their family's elite social standing was a potential danger. He believed that kindness could be a weakness, something that could tarnish their reputation. One evening, Marcus summoned Liam to his study. The room was richly decorated, filled with expensive art and antique furniture. Marcus's gaze was steely as he leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled. "Liam, I've been hearing about your little charitable acts," Marcus began, his voice smooth but laced with a hint of disapproval. "I don't think you realize the implications of what you're doing. Our family has a certain image to uphold, and you're jeopardizing it." Liam, though accustomed to his stepfather's controlling nature, was taken aback by the gravity of Marcus's words. "I'm just trying to help people," he replied, his voice firm. "Isn't that a good thing?" Marcus's expression hardened. "Not when it's at the expense of our reputation. We need to ensure that you understand the gravity of this situation." Liam's confusion grew, but he didn't have time to question further. Marcus continued, "I think it's time we teach you a lesson about responsibility and image. I've arranged something that will help you understand." The next day, Jasmine received an unexpected visit from Marcus himself. He appeared at the small apartment his imposing presence contrasting sharply with the modest surroundings. With a calculated smile, he offered Jasmine a proposal that seemed too good to be true. "Jasmine, I'm here to offer you an opportunity," Marcus began. "My stepson Liam has taken an interest in helping people like you. To prevent any more trouble, we've decided to make an arrangement. If you agree to marry Liam, you'll have a life of comfort and wealth." Jasmine's eyes widened in shock. "Marry him? But why? I don't even know him." Marcus's smile remained unwavering. "It's a way for you to secure your future and help your community. The money you'll receive will be substantial, enough to make a difference in your life and the lives of others." Conflicted, Jasmine weighed the offer. The thought of improving her life and helping her family was tempting, but the idea of marrying a stranger under such circumstances felt wrong. Yet, the possibility of making a significant impact with the money swayed her. As the days went by, Jasmine found herself caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. Little did she know that Marcus's proposal was not just a simple arrangement but part of a larger scheme to manipulate and control. The true nature of Marcus's plan remained hidden, setting the stage for a dramatic clash of wills and revealing secrets that would change everything. In the meantime, Liam's life continued to be influenced by Marcus's manipulations. He remained unaware of the full extent of his stepfather's scheming. As the wedding date approached, tension grew, and Jasmine's decision would soon unveil a web of betrayal and deception that neither she nor Liam could have anticipated. As Sydney's skyline shimmered under the sun, Jasmine found herself standing at a crossroads. The proposal from Marcus had left her in turmoil. The thought of marrying a wealthy man like Liam was tempting, but the circumstances surrounding the offer were unsettling. Marcus's insistence on the arrangement seemed more about control than genuine kindness. Jasmine spent the following days in a haze, trying to reconcile the idea of a comfortable life with the moral implications of the arrangement. One evening, as Jasmine was cleaning a high-end restaurant in the heart of Sydney, she noticed Marcus sitting at a table, engaged in a private conversation with an elderly woman. Jasmine caught a glimpse of the woman's brooch, a striking piece of jewelry that seemed oddly familiar. She shook off the distraction and continued her work, but the image of the brooch lingered in her mind. The next day, Jasmine visited a local market, where she overheard a conversation about a wealthy estate and a woman named Evelyn Howard. The snippets she heard mentioned a tragic story of loss and betrayal. The name Howard struck a chord, and the brooch from the restaurant flashed in her memory. She decided to investigate further. Jasmine's research led her to old newspaper articles about Evelyn Howard, who had been a prominent figure in Sydney's elite society. The stories painted Evelyn as a kind and generous woman whose death had left a void in the community. According to the articles, Evelyn's wealth had passed to her husband, Marcus, after her death. Determined to uncover more, Jasmine visited the local archives. There, she discovered more details about Evelyn Howard's life and her tragic death. What shocked Jasmine the most was a mention of a lost child, an infant daughter who had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The realization hit Jasmine like a ton of bricks. The missing child was her. As Jasmine pieced together the clues, she learned about Marcus's ruthless nature. He had married Evelyn, acquired her fortune, and then abandoned Jasmine when Evelyn died. Marcus had deliberately erased Jasmine's existence to secure his control over the family's wealth. This revelation was a devastating blow, confirming her worst fears about Marcus's character and the true nature of the proposal. The wedding day arrived, shrouded in a mix of anticipation and dread. The opulent venue, adorned with lavish decorations, was a stark contrast to Jasmine's humble background. Guests in their finest attire buzzed with excitement, unaware of the hidden drama unfolding behind the scenes. Liam, oblivious to the true motives behind the marriage arrangement, was preparing for the ceremony. Despite his doubts and the growing tension, he tried to focus on the positive aspects of the union. He had grown fond of Jasmine's resilience and kindness and hoped their marriage could somehow bring about positive change. Jasmine, dressed in a stunning wedding gown, felt a mix of anxiety and resolve. As she walked down the aisle, her eyes were drawn to Marcus, whose smug expression did nothing to comfort her. The ceremony was underway, and Jasmine prepared herself for the worst. Just as Marcus was about to make his move and publicly reveal Jasmine's background to humiliate her and Liam, Jasmine's resolve hardened. The brooch Marcus had worn was still fresh in her mind, and she knew she had to act before the truth was twisted beyond recognition. With a sudden burst of courage, Jasmine stepped forward, interrupting the ceremony. "Stop! Before you continue, there's something I need to say." The guests murmured in confusion as Jasmine took a deep breath.
Jasmine Howard.
"I was abandoned by Marcus when I was just a child. My mother, Evelyn Howard, passed away years ago. Marcus stole her wealth and left me to fend for myself in poverty." The revelation sent shockwaves through the room. Liam's eyes widened in disbelief, and Marcus's face turned ashen. The carefully constructed facade of Marcus's reputation began to crumble. Jasmine continued, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "Marcus manipulated me into this marriage, not out of compassion but to further his own agenda. I am the rightful heir to Evelyn Howard's estate, not just a poor cleaner. The congregation was stunned into silence, their eyes shifting between Jasmine and Marcus. Liam, now fully aware of the depth of Marcus's betrayal, felt a mix of anger and betrayal. He realized that his stepfather had orchestrated the entire situation to suit his own greedy purposes. Marcus's composure faltered as he faced the undeniable truth. The weight of Jasmine's accusations and the shock of the guests left him cornered. His manipulation and deceit were now exposed for all to see. As the guests began to process the revelation, Jasmine's strength and determination stood out. She had transformed from a pawn in Marcus's game into a beacon of truth and justice. The wedding, intended to be a display of Marcus's power and control, had become a stage for exposing his darkest secrets. The once lavish wedding hall was now abuzz with chaos. The elegant decor seemed starkly out of place against the backdrop of the drama that had unfolded. Guests whispered among themselves, their expressions a mix of shock and curiosity. Liam stood frozen, his mind reeling from the bombshell Jasmine had just dropped. Marcus, who had prided himself on his unassailable position, now found himself in the eye of a storm he could no longer control. As Jasmine's declaration echoed through the hall, Liam's initial disbelief turned into a sharp, focused anger. He confronted Marcus, his voice low but seething with rage. "Is it true, Marcus? Did you really abandon Jasmine and steal her mother's estate?" Marcus, cornered and desperate, tried to maintain his composure. "Liam, this is a misunderstanding. Jasmine is trying to ruin everything." Liam's eyes burned with fury. "I've seen enough. It's clear you've been playing a twisted game from the start. The truth is out, and you owe everyone here an explanation." The guests continued to murmur, their curiosity piqued. The once celebratory atmosphere was now filled with tension and anticipation. Jasmine stood tall, her heart pounding but her resolve unshaken. She had exposed Marcus, but the battle was far from over. Marcus's face was a mask of controlled panic as he tried to salvage his crumbling reputation. "This is a smear campaign. Jasmine has been manipulating you all." Before he could continue, the police arrived, summoned by concerned guests who had witnessed the unraveling of Marcus's deceit. The officers, briefed on the situation, began their investigation. They questioned Marcus, Jasmine, and the shocked attendees. Jasmine, with Liam by her side, recounted the truth of her past and Marcus's betrayal. Her detailed account of Marcus's manipulations and her own research into Evelyn Howard's history added weight to her claims. The police took notes and promised to look into the matter thoroughly. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that Marcus had not only manipulated the situation but had also been involved in fraudulent activities. Jasmine's revelations were supported by documents proving her identity as Evelyn Howard's daughter and Marcus's fraudulent claims to her estate. The days following the wedding were turbulent. Marcus faced mounting pressure as his financial and legal troubles escalated. Jasmine and Liam, on the other hand, found themselves in the midst of an unexpected alliance. Their shared experience and newfound respect for each other forged a bond that transcended the forced marriage. Liam, despite his initial involvement in the scheme, felt a deep sense of guilt. He had been a pawn in Marcus's cruel game, and the reality of Jasmine's plight weighed heavily on him. He vowed to make amends by supporting Jasmine in her quest for justice. Jasmine's strength and resilience became a source of inspiration. She continued to advocate for those who had been wronged and used her position to bring attention to the injustices faced by others. Her journey from a struggling cleaner to a voice of justice highlighted her courage and determination. As the legal battles against Marcus intensified, Jasmine and Liam worked together to navigate the complexities of the case. They spent long hours reviewing documents, meeting with legal advisors, and preparing for court appearances. Their collaboration was a testament to their shared commitment to uncovering the truth and seeking justice. Despite the mounting evidence against him, Marcus refused to admit defeat. He continued to manipulate and deceive, trying to undermine Jasmine's efforts. He attempted to discredit her and her claims, but the growing public support for Jasmine and the mounting legal evidence made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain his facade. The turning point came when the court proceedings revealed the full extent of Marcus's crimes. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and his attempts to cover up his misdeeds were futile. The judge, moved by Jasmine's bravery and the undeniable proof of Marcus's wrongdoing, sentenced him to significant prison time and ordered him to return the stolen assets. Jasmine and Liam's victory was hard-earned, but it was also a testament to their resilience and determination. The process had tested their strength, but it had also brought them closer together. Their shared journey of confronting greed and manipulation had forged a strong partnership. In the aftermath of the legal battle, Jasmine and Liam decided to channel their experiences into something positive. They established a foundation dedicated to helping those in need, focusing on providing support and opportunities for the underprivileged. Their shared goal was to make a difference in the community and prevent others from suffering the same injustices they had faced. The courtroom's silence was palpable as the verdict was read. Marcus was sentenced to 15 years in prison for his extensive fraud and embezzlement, and ordered to repay the stolen assets. His once proud demeanor was shattered, and the weight of his actions pressed heavily on him. He had underestimated Jasmine and Liam's determination, and now he faced the consequences of his greed and manipulation. As Marcus was led away in handcuffs, the media frenzy that followed was relentless. News outlets across Sydney covered the dramatic downfall of the wealthy businessman and the extraordinary turn of events that had led to his downfall. Jasmine and Liam found themselves in the spotlight, their story capturing the public's imagination. They were hailed as symbols of courage and justice, their actions inspiring many. Jasmine, now recognized as the rightful heir to Evelyn Howard's estate, was faced with the daunting task of rebuilding her life. She was overwhelmed by the sudden shift from being a struggling cleaner to inheriting a substantial fortune. However, her focus remained steadfast on using her newfound resources for good. With Liam's support, she set about fulfilling the promises she had made during the tumultuous journey. Liam, having experienced the harsh realities of Marcus's manipulation firsthand, felt a deep sense of responsibility. His initial act of kindness had set the stage for the dramatic turn of events, and he was determined to ensure that their efforts led to lasting change. Together with Jasmine, he began to lay the groundwork for their foundation, which would provide support, education, and opportunities for those in need. The foundation was established in the heart of Sydney, and its mission was clear: to assist the underprivileged and offer a helping hand to those who had been forgotten by society. Jasmine and Liam worked tirelessly to create programs that addressed various needs, from financial assistance to education and job training. They used their platform to advocate for social justice and to highlight the issues faced by marginalized communities. Jasmine's story, once a tale of hardship and betrayal, had become a beacon of hope and redemption. Her resilience and courage had turned her into an advocate for change, and her efforts were making a tangible difference in the lives of many. She found fulfillment in using her experiences to create a positive impact, and her work was a testament to her strength and determination. Liam, too, found a new purpose. His involvement in the foundation allowed him to channel his wealth and influence into meaningful causes. The experience had transformed him from a privileged young man who had been out of touch with the realities faced by others